Marty Kotos of Florida today. Kevin, two parts, if I may. First of all, can you assess your team's chances with 4 cars in the nationwide race tomorrow night, and what could make the difference there? And then secondly, only 5 guys in the 52-year history of the 400 have won consecutively. You could become the 6th. What makes this race so hard to win back-to-back? Thank you.
Yeah, I think, your first question with the nationwide stuff, really, the reason for entering the cars is just the way that the racing is now. We probably only needed to enter 1. We could have just let Stewart handle the whole process, and he could probably handle it by himself with his success that he's had in the cars and here at Daytona. So, but no, I mean, we'll put the 4 cars together and see where they fall in the end. These races are just hard to win because there's just so many things happening, and it's kind of the great equalizer. Anybody can win from any given spot at any particular time, and you just have to try to put yourself in the right position to A, be around at the end, and B, be in position to capitalize at the end of the race on the last lap, because that's when it all happens. So just all about trying to put yourself in the right spot. Sometimes you can't even get there, and but you do the best you can to try to do that.
Okay, let's go with George, then Buddy, and then Mike.
Come back here, George Diaz with the Orlando Sentinel. Where do you stand with the tandem racing scenario? Thumbs up, thumbs down, or it is what it is? It is what it is for me. I honestly think if the track would have been paved 15 years ago, and everybody just figured it out. And I think if everybody would have figured it out 15 years ago, you could have done it with the cars then. So I mean, it's just a matter of one guy figuring it out, and it's just kind of stuck. And now that there's new asphalt, you can do whatever you want because the grip is really high. So it's just, as a driver, you race whatever gives you the best opportunity to win the race, and that's the best. If you don't do that, you're not even going to come close. So that's what gives us the best opportunity, and that's what we'll do. Yeah, I'm not really going to prefer one way or the other. I mean, for me as a driver, it's just all about whatever's the fastest way.
Let's go Buddy, then Mike, and then Don.
Back in the back. Kevin, you've kind of developed a reputation, not just this year, but over the years, of just pulling out wins at the last minute. Is it just that wrestler's mentality that comes out with one to go, or you're just in the right spot at the right place? And, I mean, 3 times this year, you've pulled it off on the last lap.
I mean, we always have been, better at the end of the races than we had at the beginning, and over the last little bit, it seems like it's been more dramatic than it needs to be, for sure. But hey, whatever we got to do, if it's leading 1 lap or half a lap or quarter lap, as long as we're winning, that's the main thing.
Just to follow up, Kyle Busch came up and shook your hand after last week after Infineon. Is that all over with, and you guys are all good to go, or your thoughts on that?
I wouldn't call it good to go on that. I mean, we raced together for a lap and a half. I was as confused about all that as everybody else.
All right, thank you.
Let's go with Mike, Don, and then Marty.
Mike Mulhern from MikeMulhern.net. Tony Stewart had a statement last weekend about guys blocking and what he's going to do about it. What's your take on that, and what's your take on blocking here at Daytona? Do you have to block at Daytona? I don't know. Oh, yeah, you have to block here for sure. The hardest thing about the road race stuff is you have to race with a different style, and as everybody has seen over the last several years, those races are rough, and probably have become probably the most exciting races on the schedule. But when you do it lap after lap, it tends to frustrate people, and the road race guys are the worst about it, and they'll do it lap after lap, and you usually just have to run over them to get by them. So if it's a lap after lap thing, it gets on your nerves pretty fast. Oh, you're going to block here. You have to. I mean, it all depends on where you are in the race, how many laps are left.
Okay, let's go with Don, Marty, and then Lee. Go ahead, Don.
Hi, Kevin. Don Coble with Morris News Service. You mentioned that you have to make friends out on the track with this tandem racing. Do you find that you're more willing to be friendly with someone on the racetrack that you probably wouldn't be friendly with them anywhere else on these 4-plate races? Do they
Absolutely.
make strange,
You know, I
friendships?
think as a team, as a whole, with RCR, we have to try to put our team first. But you know, when you wind up with people having accidents and or just problems in general, or a bad pit stop, or whatever the case may be, you wind up with, you know, some odd partners. You know, and this weekend you just expect it. You know that you're going to have to work with people that you don't want to. You wouldn't necessarily even think about cooperating with on a normal racetrack, but on this particular weekend, you work with whoever, whenever, and you do what you have to do. So first and foremost, you put your team first, and you try to take those 4 cars and make that work.
Let's go Marty, Lee, and then Ken Willis.
Marty Smith, ESPN. Kevin, you've always been extremely complimentary of Trevor Bayne, both as a kid and competitor. And you've also come back to Daytona in July as a Daytona 500 winner. So knowing all that, what do you think it must be like for him to walk back in the gates today?
It's got to be pretty special. Well, I know it is, and I think, you know, with everything that he's been through this year, I think just getting in the car every week is pretty exciting for him, and just being around the racetrack and being around all the people that he likes being around, his friends, his family, and you know, everybody at the racetrack pretty much becomes your family. So when you can just be around the people that you like being around, sometimes that's more important than winning any dumb race. You know, I mean, it's really more about living an everyday life than it is winning a race. He's winning the big race.